Hi, everyone. My name is Randall Davis from the English Language Institute at the University of Utah. And joining me are my co-presenters, Pragya Adhikari from Nepal, Mouna Bouhlel from Tunisia, and Keilor Vargas from Costa Rica. And we're really excited to be with you and in our presentation today, which is called The Nuts and Bolts of Teaching Effective Listening Strategies. That's what we're going to be addressing. And I feel greatly privileged by having different voices from around the world that will be sharing these ideas with you. To give you an idea of what we'll be doing in our presentation, I will be starting out sharing some of the factors that impact comprehensibility. And these comments will be followed up with by my co-presenters on some of their ideas of how to teach these strategies to students. So let's go ahead and get started. To begin with, we're going to be talking about the nuts and bolts of teaching effective listening strategies, as I mentioned. And as part of the presentation, I first want to spend a couple of minutes talking about the factors that affect comprehensibility, why people sometimes, all of us, do not understand what is being spoken. And then this will be followed up by some classroom activities for improving listening skills. First of all, let's go ahead and begin. And I must emphasize that the factors that I'm discussing today are not just limited to these. There's a multiplicity of factors that affect comprehensibility, and I want to address some of those. First of all, the rate of speed. Many times students say to me, Randall, native speakers speak too quickly. And I often respond, maybe you listen too slowly. In other words, I think sometimes as we begin to learn a new language, sometimes the processing speed of processing everything that is coming at us is very, very challenging. And acknowledging and recognize that I think is the first step to understanding. My co-presenters will be discussing some of those points as well. Next, in addition to rate of speed, is something called acoustic blur. In other words, word reductions due to unstressed syllables. For example, if I were to say to you, G yet? No, Jew. Let me show the G yet? No, Jew. Well, what in the world does that mean, Randall? Well, did you eat yet? No, did you? Do you want to go to the party tonight? Do you? Would you? Could you? Those type of word reductions often affect comprehensibility, something that I think we all try to address in the classroom. In addition to rate of speed and acoustic blur are vocabulary, idiomatic expressions, and grammatical structures. For example, with idioms, keep your nose clean, have your nose in a book, keep your nose out of something, right? Pay through the nose, follow your nose. All of those, although students understand the word nose, understanding how it's used in a multiplicity of situations can be very difficult for learners. And the last idea that I want to share, again, these ideas, factors that affect comprehensibility are not just limited to these, but the idea of background knowledge or cultural knowledge, and sometimes the familiarity that we have to a particular topic, the more background knowledge that we have, the better we can see the world and understand. There is a tendency for all of us to see the world through the prism of our own cultural understanding. So if I were to say, oh, what are houses and apartments like in your country? You might think like this, or someone else might think like this. Or even someone else might think of this in terms of houses and apartments. So these ideas, rate of speed, acoustic blur, vocabulary, idiomatic expressions, grammatical structures, and lack of cultural knowledge, background knowledge, are some of the factors that affect comprehensibility. Right now, I'd like to turn the time over to our next presenter to discuss some of the activities, and we'll go from there.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mouna Bouhlel, and I am an English teacher. I teach at Ibnou Sina School, high school in Tunisia. And today I'll be talking about how to teach songs in EFL classes. Well, first of all, why teach songs? First of all, it's really fun. And we have the students be exposed to authentic and natural language, in addition to a variety of new vocabulary that may not be found in textbook. and to experience a wide range of accents, in addition to introducing grammar and cultural aspects. However, we should be careful about the choice of song. Why this song in particular? Is it related to the curriculum you are dealing with in class? We also should be careful about the vocabulary used in the song is appropriate, and also about the pictures and scenes of the videos. How now to teach songs in class? Of course, we need a plan. We need the before listening part, which is planned for the listening task. We have to set a purpose or decide in advance what to listen for, decide if more linguistic or background knowledge is needed. Now, the while listening or the during listening, which is the comprehension part, we should use a variety of tasks and questions. We should also integrate vocabulary, idioms, and grammar, and also teach pronunciation. The after listening part, which is the production part, students may work together, for example, to write a summary, or to write an interview, or to make a kind of drawing. Why not write a poem, a speech, kind of ad, and any other activity that can be related to the theme of the song. I have taught several songs in class, and today I have chosen Men in the Mirror by Michael Jackson. The objectives of this lesson are to guess, or the students will be able to guess the relationship between 5 pictures and the theme of philanthropy. This is the theme I've been teaching. Demonstrate comprehension by answering varied comprehension questions. Identify a figure of speech. Develop pronunciation at word level. Take part in group work to write and present a speech and to enact the music video of the song. The main skill is listening, then it will be listening into reading and writing and speaking, and also video watching. The vocabulary, students will be introduced to words like nickel, blow, disregard, scarred, widow, and washed out, including others, of course. And the aids I've used are visuals, data show, video, and handouts. This is the pre-listening activity. I have pinned 5 pictures on the board to introduce vocabulary. The vocabulary I wanted to introduce is nickel, scarred, a widow, a man in a coat, and a broken bottle top. Then I asked the students to try to imagine and try to make up or come up with a story that can link these 5 pictures together, and at the same time it should relate to the theme of philanthropy in class. Well, they set their imagination free, and it was really a funny, if you like, activity. Then what they did was to watch the video, watch the whole song, and at the same time I gave these handouts that contain words from the song, so they had to listen and circle the words they hear. Now, after they finished this activity, I asked them to check their guessing, whether their guessing was right or wrong. Then I started with dealing with the song part by part, so to avoid any kind of boredom. In activity number 2, this is the adulterated song. I asked them to listen to part 1, underline the mistake in every line, and correct it. Then it has been followed by some comprehension questions. Activity number 3, the gut feeling part. And by the way, when I dealt with part number 1, I also included pronunciation. I asked them to listen again to part 1 and identify words containing these sounds, the I, the E, and the E. Then it's all been followed by an information transfer and a matching for more, if you like, comprehension of the whole song. Activity number 4, the scrambled lines. Reorder the following lines of the chorus. Activity number 5, circling the right option. So students had a variety of tasks, so they didn't get bored and they really enjoyed it. These activities have been a little bit challenging for them and they really liked it. Now, time for introducing the figurative language. Here I have chosen imagery. I have asked them to pick out 3 expressions that express imagery and then match them with the meaning provided in this table. The post-listening activity, as you can see here on my screen, I put these students into groups. And then I have given them these handouts, make a change. What can you do to make a change in your words? And ask them to provide solutions. then be ready to give a kind of speech. And the activity was really a very interactive one. And by the end of their work, every group chose, if you like, a speaker who went, if you like, to the board and delivered his speech in front of his classmates. I also gave them time at home to work on a kind of writing the script of a music video to the song, and they also did it really well in class, and they really enjoyed it. So that was all for my presentation. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Mouna. So does anyone have any questions perhaps for Mouna?
I got a quick question, Mouna. Like, what is the standard size, or like, you know, this is the perfect size of class for doing an activity like this? Like, how many students?
All right. So this year we have really the perfect size in class. In this class I have about 16 students, but we usually have about 30. But I could do it with 30 students as well as 16 students. All right.
Okay.
Of course, 16 is always better than 30 or 28 or 36 or whatever.
Or 200.
Right.
Or 200, yes.
All right. All right, let's turn the time now over to Keilor for the next part of the presentation.
Thank you very much, Randall and Mouna, for your participation. Well, now it's my turn. I'm Professor Keilor Vargas from Costa Rica. I teach in a high school like about 2 hours from the capital city, San Jose. And today I'm going to be talking a little bit about how to enhance pronunciation by listening. You know that learning a language involves a lot of different things. One of the factors that helps is to listen to models. Models refer to realia. It brings you closer to native speakers. Native speakers are your models. Where can you hear that? Different places. You can find that in TV series, you can find that in the news, you can find that on music, as Mouna mentioned, you can find that on different places. Why does that help you with your listening? You're gonna be listening to a person that speaks that language since their birth, and then you're gonna copy that model, okay? Now, by listening to realia, you will also have better understanding, because it's a person that speaks that language. They know everything. They're probably gonna use idioms a lot. They're gonna use phrasal verbs that sometimes it's hard for students to learn about phrasal verbs. So by listening, you can get phrases, you can write down the phrasal verbs, and then check out the meaning in case you don't understand something. It's gonna help you expand your vocabulary as well. Instead of getting only one way to say something, you can find different phrases to say the same thing. You're gonna use new words and also new uses of phrases. How are you gonna use that? Okay, how are you gonna enhance your pronunciation? You need to repeat and repeat and repeat. It's always good to listen to yourself also. If you can record yourself, that will be perfect. In that way, you know that you're saying a phrase or that you're saying a word in the right way. So it's always important to record yourself. I think we all got a recording in our hands with the cell phones, okay? Now, pay close attention to the phrases that you hear, because yeah, you can understand the meaning, you can understand and know the pronunciation, but also the phrases convey different meanings as well. And the intonation is very important. It's the music of language, because you can say something, but depending on how you say it, it means something different. So that's something that is always difficult to understand. How can you do that? Well, pay attention to the sentence stress. The message conveys different meaning depending on the word's stress. What does this mean? I'll give you one example. Sometimes you can hear somebody saying, "Are you gonna eat that?" It's totally different from somebody saying, "Are you gonna eat that?" The first one, it shows that the person is disgusted by what you're gonna eat, okay? On the next one, I'm not sure if that's really food. Or in the third case, is the same phrase, are you gonna eat that? Because I thought you brought it for me. Are you gonna eat that? You're just looking at the food, you're not eating. So it's the same phrase, but it expresses different meaning depending on the word that you stress. So when you're listening, pay attention so you can learn. Pay attention to the emphasis of the sentence, the words that are stressed. And that's going to help you understand not only the vocabulary, not only the phrase, but also what the person is trying to say, the feelings involved in what they say. Okay? And a good way of also rehearsing, repeating, when you're recording yourself, practicing to enhance your pronunciation, is to apply word linking. That's going to help you with your fluency. What is word linking? Very simple. Every word has at the end and at the beginning either a consonant or a vowel sound. Okay, you can do this online, you can do this face-to-face. If you're a student, you can apply it also. It's linking consonants with vowels. Like, for example, there was an old man. There was an old man. Okay, you're linking was an old man together. Was an old man. You're saying everything like a word. And that's one of the things that the native speakers do to talk more natural and also more fluently. It's also good to apply linking and to get to know the most common linked words. For example, going to, most native speakers say gonna, wanna, I want to eat something. I want to eat something. So when you say I want to eat something, it sounds more fluently. Another one is gotta. I've got to go to the doctor. So you can say I gotta go to the doctor, right? It's part of the reduction, the linking, things that you can always listen to when you are exploring English. That would be it for my part. And now let's welcome Pragya with her part. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Keilor, very much. And one of the things that I've seen in your part and Mouna's part is this connection of word reductions. Some of the things that I mentioned at the beginning, if you want to make the world a better place, that's what Mouna mentioned. And then you were talking about gonna and wanna. So yes, those things come up in natural speech and in materials that we use in the classroom. And I thought that was really interesting. So thank you.
Thank you.
Let's turn the time over to Pragya now.
Thank you, Keilor, for your part of presentation. Hello, everyone. My name is Pragya. I'm a teacher from Nepal, and I have been teaching in an urban area in Gulmi in Nepal. So today, I want to talk about a special technique for listening skills. That's called transcription. So what exactly is transcription? Transcription is just an act of jotting down the words that you listen, or you just pick it up when someone speaks to you. Normally, transcription has two techniques, how we follow the transcription pattern. First, you got to find an audio. When you find that audio, you need to listen that audio in the target language. And you just need to write down whatever you listen, you just need to write down the recordings. Record yourself speaking the text that you have written down. Once you have jotted down everything that you have listened, you just need to record yourself. You then repeat these two steps until you have mastered that piece of text. Keep repeating the procedure, find the flaws, identify the errors, and keep listening and keep jotting down until you get the perfect transcript. Now, when you talk about listening classes, I find my students asking the same question and again. I hear so many things. So what's the difference between hearing and listening? So whenever we go to the class for listening, we always tend to say, okay, listen for the purpose. Without a purpose, don't do your listening exercise. If I have to share an example, if someone is talking about politics and I'm not interested at all, I'll just listen to the things that I like. Otherwise, I tend to ignore all the conversation. So whenever you're doing a special kind of learning, listening for your language learners, you need to be specific what they're supposed to listen and what's the purpose of the listening activity. Now, the transcription technique has proper 8 steps that normally all the teachers follow. So if I have to describe this step by step, this is how it starts. First, you need to find a suitable audio clip. For children who are of 6 to 7 years, you cannot find a clip that's related to 16 or 17 years of kid. That the pace would be very fast for them. The words would be very difficult for them to pick up. So age-appropriate audio clip is a very good way to start off. Listen once without trying to write anything down. Just play it and listen to it. Don't try writing what you listen. After that, set up a blank Word, Google Doc, or just note down in your notebook whatever you listen, whatever you can pick up from the audio clip. Once you jot it down, read over the first draft of your transcript without listening. Just read it and try to figure out, does that make sense? Does the words are connecting? Does it make any sense or it is logical? After that, restart the recording. Listen to the recording one more time and restart the recording. This time, pay special attention to those areas and see if the combination of sound plus context makes any clearer. So once you again listen to the audio and you start jotting it down, you realize that whatever you have been missing, you can write it down. After this, you can always ask your friend or your tutor or a teacher to look at your transcript to correct it and fill in any remaining blanks. It's not necessary that you'll get it perfect within 2 or 3 listening times. So just ask your teacher or friend to fill out the remaining blanks that's mentioned in the transcript. Take your fully corrected transcript, set up your recording device, and listen one last time while reading along. One more time, you're going to listen to the radio, listen to the audio clip, and check your transcript and read, and you can just find out what are the missing words. Last, record yourself reading your transcription of phrases you originally couldn't understand with the written words. Once you have the transcript and you have the audio, you can always find out what's the error you made, and you can always go through those words with the help of dictionary, or you can just figure it out what's the error over there. So what's the practice tips for transcription? Try watching lots of English TV shows or movies, but make sure they have bilingual subtitles so it's easy for you to make out what is being said and what exactly it's being said. Listen and re-listen at different speeds. Sometimes you can try forwarding at 2-3 seconds and just try to catch up the words. You can also use the platforms like FluentU and Dictogloss to practice your listening skills. There are lots of websites where you can find listening materials. Here are 4 of them which I frequently use, and I'm sharing that with you all. One is ESL Cyber Listening Lab, another is Newsy, another is Talk English, and ilo.org. You can find different audio clips that can be useful in your class and make your students practice. So that's the end of my presentation. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for joining our presentation. Mouna, Bouhlel, Pragya, Adhikari, and Keilor, Vargas. Thank you for sharing your ideas on the whole concept of helping students improve their listening skills in a variety of ways. Please reach out to any of us if you have any questions or comments about what we've done, and we look forward to sharing other ideas with you in any other way possible online. Thank you very much.